After multiple delays, even before it was cool and every other film did it, Matthew Vaughn is back with his electric spy franchise. This is my review of The Kingsman. Set to the backdrop of World War I, the Kingsman Agency is formed to stand against the cabal of history's worst tyrants and criminal masterminds, as they gather to plot a war to wipe out millions as one man races against time to stop them. Now, before I properly get started with my review, I want to know your thoughts on this film. How do you enjoy the Kingsman franchise thus far? And are you excited for this one, despite all its delays and everything? Anything and everything, let me know in the comments below. Start the conversation, because it is always the most important part. And while you're down there, consider clicking that subscribe button, because if you like movies and TV, this is the place to be, and you won't miss any future conversation on your favorite movies and TV. I love both of the previous Kingsman films. I was not disappointed with the second one. I am one of the very few people, so I was excited for this one naturally, because this franchise has pleased me thus far, but all the delays naturally took a bit of that away, so I walked into this one very trepidatiously. But Matthew Vaughn takes a more serious approach on this one. Given the politically charged setting, he adds a bit more sophistication to his direction and makes it feel like a Bond-adjacent romp that fits very well within the Kingsman universe. Think X-Men First Class, but with all the little individuality, personality, if you will, traits of the Kingsman franchise thus far. And the overall somber tone really works to ground the central characters and their conflict. At its core, what we have here is a story of a father and a son. The father is trying to protect his son with all he has, given a tragedy in their past, which I'm not going to divulge here. And the son is just trying to grow up, to get out there, and to get out from under his dad's wing and try to make him proud. And Vaughn's focus on the grounded and human story of father and son makes it all very compelling, and as the story unfolds, even surprising at points. His signature action and comedy mix are there, and they deliver that familiarity that makes this fit very well with the rest of the Kingsman universe, despite the fresh take. Whether it is through the kinetic one-on-one fights that are incredible, the hilarious character interactions, and even the exhilarating stunts. The way they capture action on camera here is stellar. Matthew Vaughn is, simply put, one of the best action directors working today. And Rhys Ifans is fantastic. I love seeing him as the lead in an action film. He's leading this extremely charming cast that includes Gemma Arterton, Djimon Hounsou, Brühl, Dickinson, and many others in this rompy pulp British adventure that clearly everyone is having the time of their lives in. Just refreshing to see Rhys Ifans not only stretch his compelling dramatic muscles, but as well his physical ones. He pulls action on screen very, very well. But the show stealer in this might be Rhys Ifans as Rasputin. The dude is incredible. The entire audience was laughing whenever he was on screen, myself included. He chews the scenery to no end and offers the most outrageous, shocking, and laugh-inducing moments of the film. Think the comedy that you already recognize from Matthew Vaughn in the rest of the Kingsman films and dial it up to 100. Rhys Ifans steals the show completely. But the film is not without its faults, and where it faltered for me is naturally where prequels falter. There are necessary references that the film makes because it's building towards something. It will fall upon referencing certain things, certain elements that we already recognize from the other films, but others just feel shoehorned in, like, oh, we mentioned this name and we recognize this name because it's a thing in the future because we've seen it in the other Kingsman films. And so that can take you out momentarily of the film because it happens throughout and it might feel just a bit forced. I also didn't care too much for the villain in the film. They're very one-note. They're funny enough when called for it. There are some cool action sequences and some funny exchanges and interactions with them, but they're barely memorable. And for better or worse, this franchise so far has not had an issue with unmemorable villains, be it Julianne Moore or Samuel L. Jackson. The biggest issue I had with The Kingsman, however, and this is the issue that might have it lose the most viewers, is it's very jumbled and messy first act. There's just too much going on. There's too much jumping around between moments and characters and getting presented to everything and all the little pieces and plot threads that are going to be important. Once the film finds its footing, from that first half hour, kicks into high gear, and it really works. From the compelling characters, surprising story turns, the visceral action, and clever comedy, this is a very welcoming addition for me to the Kingsman universe and a nice little fresh addition to the spy thriller genre. It has the laughs, it has the action, it has the humanity in it, and all of that I appreciated. I'm giving The Kingsman a B. But those are only my thoughts on The Kingsman. I want to know what you thought about it. Let me know all of that in the comments below. It's in UK theaters on Boxing Day. Thank you so much to 20th Century Fox UK for having me at an early screening to give you this review, and I'll be back very soon with reviews for Nightmare Alley, Licorice Pizza, and of course Spider-Man No Way Home. And you can go check out my review for West Side Story right now. That is up, and I hope to see you there and in all the ones coming soon. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.